All right, greetings everybody. I am back for a brand new week, here to talk to you today about what's coming to global this week. That's right, we're talking about Seoul. JP updates tomorrow, so we don't have too terribly much. And hopefully in this video, I'm not sounding as dead as I apparently was in the previous video, where someone's like, is a zombie, and some people are like, why are we listening to a guy who looks like he's dead? Good question. I don't know. You clicked on the video and you were still listening to some point, so must be at least a little bit good. But anyway, so yeah, global has been gonna have just an interesting month. A lot of people have been like very, worried about going for all that stuff that was supposed to be during that big time crunch, where it was like, oh yeah, this unit and this unit, while you're catching up for the worldwide version and everything like that. So people were a little bit worried. And later on, my advice just kind of was, well, it's not that big of a deal, because as it turns out, some units are just, hey, if you like them, then that's your thing. But if you're looking for purely amazing meta units, there wasn't that many that really ended up cracking the top. And today, this week, this is one of those weeks where, as it turns out, yes, it actually is a week with something that is very high tier, and probably will be high tier for a good amount of time. Soul has been out on JP for a little while now, and Soul came out as kind of this weird answer to a problem that was Strike. Strike was so strong for a while, in the sense that the top players in JP, when they were using a full lightning party, specifically, like mainly with Bridal Laya, but obviously Alphonse and just another lightning unit, it was a very powerful team that even mono Earth kind of had trouble beating. It wasn't unbeatable, it wasn't 100% certain, like it was just, oh, lightning was the dominant meta thing, but it was just very powerful into all teams, and as such, it was just really good for a really long time. And then Soul came out, and Soul really made a big difference. And Soul, at first, everybody thought he was really strong, and then he got adopted for high tier PvP, and the rest is kind of just history. He's been in the top of like the highest tiered and ranked characters for a while now. Like, even beforehand, just I was looking at Altima slightly earlier today, but taking a peek over at Game 8, which are the other major site that's still, up to date and everything. Like, both of them put this character in the highest of the tiers. Like, he is up there with your Sephiroths, your King Bradleys, your Bridal Layas, and for good reason too. This unit is just incredibly powerful. You look at this, which is one of the higher arena teams that I just kind of could pick on a Monday sort of thing. And you can see, like, here, Shawls is in there, kind of regulating the cost a little bit, if cost was even an issue to be concerned, but just a healer / an auto reviver that can, full raise Soul if necessary, which is very powerful, provide support and everything like that. But Soul is just really strong, is the key point of this entire thing. So strong, in fact, that, yeah, he kind of just makes his own teams. Fire evasion is very much a thing that is secondary in term, like, he essentially came along and was so strong that he created a new archetype for fire units. And I would say that the inclusion of certain characters such as Gernsback and Astrius have pushed back against how dominant Soul was for a little while. But make no mistake, Soul is just really strong and a really great unit. So let's do a polls or reasons to pull for him versus reasons to not pull. So first off, reason, he's just very strong. That is said. If you look at his kit, I mean, his TMR can give increased human killer, which is when attacking with physical attack, so he can support physical based teams, which obviously It's one of the reasons you could run certain fire ranged archer units. You look at the rest of his kit, has select attacks. He can activate skills such as healing with Ferris type style attacks. He can deal more damage if certain things are in effect. He can grant himself a barrier, which is one of the things that makes him particularly so good against other teams. And yeah, he has 100% hit chance. So he basically has everything that you could potentially want. All of that are generally net positives as you would want this character. But I think it goes a little bit further because it also just allows something that Fire doesn't really have an option to before. You look at what Fire was kind of dealing with before, it kind of needed either the pure Fire Elemental tank just supporting it, which is still good. Fire Evasion, which is, still good, but has, not anywhere near as good as it used to be. And then you look at fire status effects. But Soul essentially came along and has allowed a lot of flexibility and really brought in new teams. So if you're looking for a unit that kind of is so strong that he can kind of just incorporate any old units that you want, and even bring back some old units to being very relevant, that in itself is generally a really great reason to get Soul now and enjoy. And saying a few other things, like his design is incredibly cool. He looks just really, really awesome. His stats and everything are very generally easy to build with a lot of equipment that's already out there, and VCs also that are also already out there, and potentially job VCs that work very well with him. Again, take a look at this Soul here and you can just see how generally pretty darn strong it is. That maybe against Gurnspec and water, but hopefully he does have some weight, right? Now let's flip and talk about reasons why you don't want to pull this character. Well, first off, he is a 100 cost, which means that you're essentially looking at half rate, which is never a great feeling because going all the way to pity could be a bad thing. Secondly, while globalers are going to be enjoying like much quicker, faster units, that does mean that you guys are less prepared for stuff that's coming in the future. And we have Halloween unit coming out next week, which will be out at the same time as Global and JP. And that's a pretty big deal. It's going to be Solir, almost certainly. And who knows how strong she will be, or potentially what she will push for meta and whatnot. So that is something to consider. Last but not least, we're still getting close to the 4th anniversary, which will probably have very new strong characters, very new powerful characters. There's still another story characters, which seem to be meta changers, with Astrius whatnot pushing heavily back against this guy. But last but not least, I think that is one of the biggest reasons why you potentially don't want to pull for this character is just because he's a permanent unit. You don't have to worry about it. He is just going to be in the pool forever, which means you get lucky and just get him as an off banner, or more probably, if there's any kind of select a unit banner, which are usually very likely to pop up around anniversary, which is even just in November right now. Just waiting it out is maybe a potentially cheaper option, while also being more prepared for whatever could come in the very near future. So I think that, of course, these are just pros and cons. You are, I assume, adults playing, or at least very reasonable people who can listen to what I am saying and kind of weigh the pros and cons about whether or not you want to get this unit. But there is no doubt in my mind that Soul, as of right now, on JP, is one of the top units out there. Very, very powerful unit, and a unit that I can't see too many people regretting, because you look at something like this with just how strong he is, and boy oh boy, yes, there are, of course, we do have what's it called, runes equipped to this, but it's what you would expect for high tier or higher arena. But anyway, I thought I would bring that up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hoping to get back to streams very quickly this week. Probably not tonight, but more than likely and see ya.